gosh, hello everyone. Today we have a very special guest for you guys, Stella Standingbear. She's the first Lakota artist to win two historic awards at the 2023 Indigenous Hip-Hop Awards and is rapidly making her mark in the music industry.
She has earned Best Female Hip Hop Artist and Music Video of the Year for her debut single, Home Runs, filmed in Ogallala, Lakota Nation, and released during Native American Heritage Month to honor MMIW, or Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. Her unique blend of melodic alt-rap has captured the hearts of listeners worldwide. Stella, would you like to introduce yourself a bit more? Kind of just tell us where you're from.
Yeah, sure. My name is Stella Standingbear. I'm born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm enrolled member of the Ogallala Lakota. And I make music. That's what I do.
And do you have a specific, or what kind of genres do you cover in terms of your music?
I really like to make all types of genres. In my discography, I have hip hop, rap, R&B, pop. Um, So I like to explore, different sounds, different genres, depending on my mood and like where I'm at in my life.
Wow, that's so cool.
hmm
So we have a couple of questions that we'd like to ask you. The first one being, so who are some of your musical inspirations, both inside and outside Indian country?
that's a good question. Um, it really just depends. I grew up listening to all types of music. I will say I didn't really grow up heavily listening to country music. But mainly like, R&B, pop, rock, hip hop. Um, So I kind of just grew up listening to all different types of genres, but so I guess you could say I was inspired from a young age on different sounds. Um so it's kind of hard to say like anyone specifically, but I think there's a lot of great artists out there, and what inspires my music too is not just music, like it's my life events, whatever I'm going through, or if I'm feeling like I'm going through some hardships and I need to vent, um, then you're gonna hear that in my music. Even movies too, like movies or TV shows. Like I'm actually inspired, or even a TikTok. Like honestly, like Home Runs was inspired by a TikTok interview by a Scooter Braun, who was which is like Justin Bieber's manager. Who's in
Yeah.
an interview, mentioning this story about there's a Serena, and anybody could line up and take a swing to try to hit a home run, and whoever does will get this big huge prize. And so like the first batter comes, swings, misses, and just gives up. The second batter comes, swings three times and is now getting booed. They give up. And there's like another batter that comes, keeps swinging and gets booed, but they don't give up. They keep swinging, gets booed more. Hey, give someone else a chance. You suck, etc., etc. And they just keep swinging, and they finally hit that home run, and everyone starts to cheer. So that's kind of like it. Relate like I felt that like just doing music. Always thinking like, oh, this is gonna be the song, this is gonna be the hit song, like, and then it not, and it flopping, and then just continuing to do that for like 10 years, really. Like, of course, there was some success here and there, but it was a lot of failure, a lot of falling, a lot of missed swings, but
Yeah.
um, having that determination to keep going and that motivation to keep going no matter what. And, so I really resonated with that. And so when I had the chance to get in the studio, I went to the studio, the beat played. I was inspired by that. I freestyled the home runs hook, went in the next day and just knocked out the song. So um that song won two awards. So it really just depends, like just being inspired by the little things in life, I would say.
That's so cool.
hmm
Our next question for you is, Do you feel the music industry is becoming more inclusive of Indigenous voices? And in your opinion, what still needs to be changed?
Yeah, I definitely feel like um there's ways being paved. There's a lot of great artists in our community that I'm very proud of and I'm always
Yeah,
rooting for. So I think, we're stronger together. And I think we're all just putting in work on our own time and together to make these doors open, to have these doors open. So I do feel like the music industry is lacking indigenous voices. But I do think we're putting in the work to get there for sure. And we're starting to see it. Of course, like with anything, there's always more work to be done, but we're starting to
yeah,
see results now, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
yeah, it really is. One of my old bosses actually knows the Snotty Nose Kids.
Yeah, they're really cool. Those are my bros. I got to do a few shows with them, and hopefully we'll release some music soon together.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, our third question, have you faced challenges in preserving Indigenous musical traditions while navigating the mainstream music industry?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I didn't grow up traditional. I grew up in the city with my mother, who's not Oglala. So, I guess that part of my identity, I I didn't really get to connect with a stronger on a stronger scale. I will say like here and there, of course, like there was bits in my life, growing up with my mom where I was able to, attend a few powwows here and there, but it wasn't anything that was consistent. I didn't really get to learn that way of life. That's one of the many reasons why I moved to my reservation a couple years ago to learn that. Um, and so on my journey, at one point, I would love to learn some traditional songs. Um, but for the time being, I'm incorporating like inspiration. Um, for example, Pray for You samples traditional singing, but in a modern way. Um, so I'm basically merging the two worlds together,
Mhm.
making taking a traditional singer, sampling it on a beat that has 808s and hip hop drums, and still talking about things um that our community resonates with. So just being that bridge really between the two worlds. But yeah, something new.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your Pray for You. Um, it's been stuck in my head for like past couple weeks.
Hey.
Yeah.
I just released the music video like I think last Saturday.
Oh yeah,
Just
I
last
haven't watched it
Saturday.
yet.
Yeah, definitely go check it out. Check it out.
Yeah.
I actually cameoed Miracle Spotted Bear too. She's a great
Oh,
artist
cool.
from my reservation. She's the one that we sampled on the song. And so it's
Mm,
cool to just be on our res and getting some cameo from her. So shout out to her. She makes she's a traditional singer, but also does like R&B. So shout out to her.
Wow, so inspiring.
Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you.
Our very last question. We just wanted to ask you to share some encouraging words with our youth because this will be played at the conference.
Absolutely. Um, so encouraging words to the youth, find something that you're passionate about and that you enjoy doing and put your time into that. For me it was music. I always knew I wanted to do music, but for some others it could be sports, it could be science, it could be anything. But I will say anything you put your mind to and you're patient with yourself and you enjoy doing, like, you will be successful. I believe each and every one of you, We're gonna have our ups, we're gonna have our downs, we're gonna have our twists, turns, highs, lows. But as long as you keep on going, that's all that matters. Just trust the process. Everything will always work out. Where sometimes we may stress out about things, but we gotta look back on all the times we did stress and they actually worked out. Everything actually did work out. And so just have a optimistic mindset and keep going, keep going. um Make your communities proud, make your family, your friends proud, and scoot in.
Stowed in.
Scoot in.
Well, thank you so much. It was really great to talk to you. I myself am Oglala. I haven't gotten a chance to visit the reservation yet, though. But my dad has. He actually has some murals up there.
That's awesome. Yeah, you should definitely come check out the homelands. It's beautiful out there. It's very grounding.
Yeah,
Very
I can
grounding.
imagine.
Mhm. And thank you again for, giving me the opportunity to share some words of encouragement and a bit about myself, and
Yeah, of course.
appreciate both of your time, and thank you. Wopila.
Yes, thank you so much.
I hope the event is full of success, and um I appreciate you playing some of my music. Of course, Pray for You is a big one. Blessings is a big one too.
Yeah,
Of course, Home Runs was like the very first one. Um yeah, there's some good ones in there for sure. Rock the Boat, Paradise.
Oh my God. I love how you're putting like the reservation because like normally the reservation is kind of seen in like a negative kind of light. Everyone's kind of like, oh, I want to get off the reservation. I want to get off the reservation. But you're like, I went back to the reservation. I found that so like it was beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I think it's all about perspective too, because like I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, and for me, I kind of have that same mindset of like, oh, like, I'm never gonna make it here. This is like in a very conservative state, like trying to make it as a
yeah,
hip hop artist here, or like dressing differently, or even just being colored, really. Um, so I felt that way too. So, when I moved to the res, it felt like home. It felt like I'm with my people. It wasn't odd or weird to have a last name like Standing Bear. Um, and I'm not, you know, so, but coming back to Salt Lake too, after a couple of years of living on the res, I did have a different perspective of like, oh no, I could really actually make it here, in Salt Lake City, Utah. Like, oh, okay, cool. I'm performing my songs on the news multiple times, or oh, okay, I got the Utah Jazz playing my music and potentially doing a halftime performance there, or doing something at the U of U. So it's all about perspective too. Sometimes we have to leave where we come from and come back with a different new perspective of, because sometimes it's hard to look out. Sometimes you just gotta like look outside the box. It's kind of hard to see when you're in it. So I would
yeah,
say just like a perspective shift too. Um, yeah. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done on our reservations, and you know that change starts with us. So we can't say like, oh, this and this needs to be changed, and not be doing anything about it. So that's also another reason why I went back to my res, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
I heard.
yeah. I think that was like the perfect message. Because I mean, everybody always wants to leave the res growing up there, but in the back of their heads, most of the time, it's always like, yes, I'm gonna leave, but I will be coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember who told me that. They're like, I want to say it's probably one of my family members, but they're like, oh yeah, everyone leaves the res, but then they're always like, oh, I don't feel at home. I don't feel, it's not the same. And then they're like, eventually everyone returns home.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I mean, take me for example. I'm in Australia, and I'm like, I do miss home. I do miss where I grew up, at my grandma's house and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. You're going to school out there in Australia?
Yeah, I'm here for six. Well, I left in January, and I'm gonna be here till July for a study abroad.
Nice. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Uh, It was nice meeting both of you. Um,
It
talk
was
later.
great talking to you.
You as well. Stay blessed. Doksha. Dokshake.
Tiktash. Hello, everyone. My name is Azleya, and I am the co-host and researcher for the Octum Land Defenders podcast. And as some of you may already know from our podcast, I am currently in Sydney, Australia, participating in a study abroad program. And I have been living here since January and will stay until July. And when I return, I will have my bachelor's degree in veterinary science from the University of Arizona. I decided to study abroad at the University of Arizona to take advantage of the opportunities presented to me. Um, I had always wanted to study abroad. Even when I first was coming into college, I it was one goal was I wanted to study abroad, and I thought it wasn't possible because I just had so many classes, and yeah, I just didn't think it was possible. My advisors even said it wasn't possible. But with the help of my family and my friends, and also teachers, the teachers were a big role in this and having this adjustment, I was able to come abroad. So I'm very thankful for them. So the University of Arizona offered many destinations abroad, including Australia, Japan, Italy, Singapore, and so many others. But I chose Australia specifically because of the many opportunities to practice and learn about wildlife. And wildlife is my main interest and what I kind of want to use this degree for. So I chose Australia because it's well known for its many landmarks and conservation efforts, including wildlife and environmental research. So Australia has many tropical beaches, which I have visited, including Bondi, Manly, Wollongong, Cronulla, all those beaches, very beautiful. They also have many lush rainforests, outstanding architecture, and it's also home to many wildlife species found nowhere else in the world. And that's also why I kind of decided to do this because I want to expand my knowledge, not just to animals specifically in the States or even in Arizona. I want to be worldwide, all those animals. So, and of course, maybe you're wondering why Australia? They're very well known for their huge spiders and venomous creatures. And yes, although I did encounter a Huntsman spider in my room, and if you know what a Huntsman spider is, it's the pretty much the big spiders that Australia is known for. But luckily, the one I had in my room was only about that big. It's still pretty big, I'll say, for coming from Arizona. That's a pretty big spider. But that was the only thing. And the main thing I see are the bin chickens walking outside. And a bin chicken is Australian slang for the white ibis bird, and it digs into rubbish and people's food. So my journey abroad, it's been very educational and useful for my degree, because it mainly deals with animals. And I have seen many native Australian animals, including kangaroos, wallabies, koalas, bandicoots, wombats, and so much more. And if you're probably like me and thinking, I don't even know any of these animals. And that was just the beauty of all. I got to learn all these different species and, encounter them. And I thought that was amazing and why I just love the mammals and the environment here. And I also see many different species of birds since I've been here. And some of them even live in my front yard or on top of our roof at the house. And a lot of these birds are those birds you see in movies, and you don't even think that that's just, you're going to walk outside and see that bird just sitting out there. It's very It's very weird, but I think I'm getting used to it. It's kind of like a pigeon back home. You know, you always see a pigeon, but you don't pay it any mind. So during my time here, I've gone on several field trips for my classes, including a 3-day camping trip to a research site 2 hours out of Sydney. And at this site, we aided Tony Hunt, who studies bird ecology for the Australian Bird Study Association. And his research is in bird banding, and this focuses on bird conservation in Australia. So we pretty much learned how to properly capture, handle, and release birds. While on this trip, we were introduced to another ongoing research project, which involves camera watching and small mammal trapping. So we would get up at 6 a.m. for 3 days to check the traps we put out the night before, and we pretty much check for animals. So we would look for bush rats, and we did catch bush rat. We caught, I want to say 2 or 3 of them. And then we look for sugar gliders, and sugar gliders are very cute, very small, and they're very similar to the flying squirrel. So they glide from tree to tree. So on the cameras that we set up, we aim to capture a potoroo. So a potoroo is an endangered animal, and it's to me it kind of looks like a hamster or like a guinea pig sort of thing. But of course, we saw many other species on those cameras, you know, like wallabies, wombats, or echidnas. And echidna is another native species, and they look similar to porcupines. They're very cute. And I particularly took a very big interest in doing the camera work for this trip. And so I decided to continue helping out. And in my spare time, I volunteered to look through cameras. So the camera data that we pick up. So I decided to look through them for my professor, Jonathan Webb, and help him with his research because these cameras pick up thousands of photos a day. So someone needs to go through and look through all those cameras and sort the different animals into different species in hopes of finding a potoroo. But I also participate in the process of setting up the cameras. So I go out to different national parks around Sydney and I set up the cameras actually. So I get to choose where we want to set it up, what kind of placement they want, how high, how low. It's very tedious, but it's all because, like I said, we all aim to hope for potoroo, so you have to study pretty much their actions. So it's a big process, but it's so much fun. And you know, study abroad, it has its ups and downs. I've gotten a chance to adventure beyond my hometown in Tucson and learn to adapt to a new environment and culture. And I met many new friends from around the world, and I have learned about so many cultures, you know, including the Aboriginal people here of Australia. This journey hasn't been easy. You know, I've never lived far from home before and have always been near my family and friends. So it does get hard, you know, when I can't just go to the next door, you know, to talk to him. So, you know, they're miles away, so I only get to talk to him on the phone. But being away from home has aided me in becoming more independent and outspoken. So, you know, just doing household chores, being financially aware, navigating public transportation by myself, doing volunteer work, attending school, and even just looking after myself has been an adjustment. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn these lifelong skills, you know, which I will remember and incorporate into my future travels. And as much as I love having the freedom to travel, explore, and make decisions on my own, I cannot wait to return to the comfort of my own home and share my experiences with my loved ones. So, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys later.